नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ॐ 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 नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। Hare Krishna, dear devotees, I welcome you to today's Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita session. Today is April 10th, 2026. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 8. Lord Krishna shows the universal form to his mother. And in this chapter, we completed the section of the name-giving ceremony of Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma. And we started the next section, which is the Ringar Leela, meaning the crawling pastimes of Krishna. So in that yesterday, what we saw was Krishna and Balarāma, Rama and Keshava, very soon, Kalena Alpena, in a very short time, not like ordinary children, the time that normally children take to crawl, not like that. Very soon, in a very short time, they started crawling. We saw the last we saw was Krishna and Balaram were in the arms of their mothers when they were 100 days, like 3 months. So shortly after that, in a very short time, they started crawling on their knees and hands. So Ringamano. So, and they would crawl around the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj's house, and Vijahratuhu means they would just enjoy it so much. It was, it was like going on a ride for them. Crawling around was like a vihara, right? Like vihar, you go on a boat ride or like that, right? Vihar. So for them, crawling around in the courtyard was like that, vihar. That is Vijahratuhu. They enjoyed that very much. And they would just be crawling all over in the courtyard. So that's what we read. Now we'll read the next verse. And another significant thing is in that purport, in that verse's purport, Srila Prabhupada quoted twice that verse written by a devotee, that people out of fear of material existence, they worship following the prescriptions given in Shrutis, in Smritis, in Mahabharata, to become out of fear of material existence. But I don't do all of that. I simply offer obeisances to Nanda Maharaj, in whose courtyard the Supreme Brahman is crawling. So the idea is, if I'm offering obeisances to Nanda Maharaj, that means Krishna is right there with Nanda Maharaj. So it's easier, right, to achieve, to reach the Supreme Lord through the devotee. He's right there. Krishna is right there in Nanda Maharaj's courtyard, like that. And also, we saw in the purport, Srila Prabhupada explained, meditating or simply hearing and thinking, being absorbed in the childhood pastimes of Krishna, any pastimes of the Lord, but especially the childhood pastimes of Krishna are very sweet. That itself is liberation. What type of liberation? Highest type of liberation. So then also we heard about Srimad Bhagavatam, why Narad Muni instructed Vyasadeva to give Srimad Bhagavatam. What is the idea of Srimad Bhagavatam? Srimad Bhagavatam is filled with the pastimes of the Lord. So we have a subject on which we can meditate, that we can hear and talk about. And by doing this, we are achieving the highest liberation. What is the highest liberation? Getting love for Krishna is the highest liberation. Krishna Prema. And then by that Krishna Prema, then Krishna reveals himself to us, and then you can actually experience the Lord when he reveals himself. So that's the highest liberation. So in Bhagavatam itself, it is said that the 4th chapter of the 1st canto, when Vyasadeva was feeling despondent after giving the 4 Vedas, then Puranas, 18 Puranas, Mahabharata, Vedanta Sutras, inspired, happy. So there, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that that 4th chapter, what is the idea of that 4th chapter? Not the 4th chapter, actually the 5th chapter. The 4th chapter talks about, in the 4th chapter, we see questions asked by Shaunakadi Rishis. So Shaunaka Rishi is asking questions on behalf of all the sages to Suta Goswami. So the topic of the 4th chapter is to hear about the speaker and the person who's asking question. Srimad Bhagavatam. So who is the speaker? Sukadeva Goswami. So who is Sukadeva Goswami? Who is Parikshit Maharaj? And we see what is their glory in that 4th chapter. Okay. And also Vyasadev's mercy. How Vyasadeva, seeing the conditioned souls, decides to do good to them. So he gives all these, he divides the Veda into various sections. That is seen in the 4th chapter. But the 5th chapter, in the 5th chapter, what is the subject matter, The 5th chapter talks about the uselessness of karma, jnana, and other processes. The uselessness of karma, jnana and other processes. And also establishes bhakti. And what type of bhakti? Specifically bhakti which has kirtan as its anga. Kirtan. Shravanam and kirtanam are the main limbs, important limbs of bhakti. So, that's the highest. Getting liberation by merging into Brahman, that's not the highest liberation. That's the point I'm trying to say. There are many statements we will hear about mukti. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also rejects. When Mahaprabhu met the tattvavadis, because tattvavadis are coming in the line of Madhvacharya, but they are, like this branch there. So tattvavadis are one group coming in the line of Madhvacharya. So because Mahaprabhu saw that they were proud of being Vaishnavas, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went there, they wouldn't even talk to him, thinking that he's a Mayavadi sannyasi. They wouldn't even talk to him. But then when they saw the ecstasies of Mahaprabhu, then they were impressed, and they honored him. Then Mahaprabhu asked them that I am just a sannyasi, and I don't know properly what is the topmost goal and what is the best sadhana, just like how the sages at Naimisharanya asked, yes, what is the best thing for humanity, like that. Mahaprabhu asked, what is the highest goal and what is the best sadhana practice for that? So the tattvavadi said, doing your duties according to your varnashrama and then offering that to the Lord. This is the best, this is the highest sadhana. Doing karma according to your varna and ashrama and offering it to the Lord, this is the highest. And what do you get by doing this? What is the highest goal? You will get 5 types of liberation. You go to Vaikuntha, you get 5 types of liberation. This is the topmost result. So the highest goal is 5 types of liberation. And the highest type of sadhana is doing varnashrama duties and offering the results of that duty to the Lord. Karmarpanam. Hearing that, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, but I heard from Shastra, what are you saying? Right? Doing karma and offering that to the Lord, that is the highest. And then Mahaprabhu started quoting Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. So this is bhakti, doing sakshat bhakti. Yes, Mataji, Rajakishori Mataji.
Mataji, while we are talking about varnashram, would you be nicely, kindly explain what is the difference between samanya varnashram and daivi varnashram?
Sure, Mataji, I will explain.
Thank you.
Okay. So Mahaprabhu said, doing simply varnashrama and so doing varnashrama dharma means what? It is karma. It is karma. Doing Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya duties, this is karma. And achieving 5 types of liberation, in which there's also, sayujya mukti, going and merging. This is the goal that jnanis achieve. You cannot get, that is not the highest. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said the highest is to do sakshat bhakti, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. And by doing this Shravana Kirtan, and by the way, whatever Mahaprabhu is saying, he's quoting verses from Bhagavatam directly, not that he's just saying, he's quoting verses and establishing to them. So, and then he said that the topmost is, by doing this Shravan Kirtan Bhakti, you get, what is the topmost result you can get? You get love of Godhead, you get prema. You can never get prema by doing karma. Doing karma is rejected in Shastra all the time. Doing karma and karma sannyas, these things are rejected in Shastra. They're not at all praised. So the point is, and karma and jnana, they never give bhakti, and you calling yourself a Vaishnava, you are telling me that the best sadhana is doing karma, and the highest goal is to get liberation, which is gotten by doing jnana. Why are you cheating me like this? Because I'm a sannyasi, I don't know, so you're thinking like I'm a mendicant, like a beggar, therefore you are cheating me. Please don't do this. In a humble way, Mahaprabhu says that. Actually, the Tattvavadi Acharya, when he heard this, he became ashamed. He said, actually, whatever you said is right. In Shastras, the best sadhana is Shravanam Kirtanam, and the highest goal is Krishna Prema. But what to do? This is the path that has been given to us by Sri Madhvacharya for our organization. So we must follow that. But what you said is right, like that. So the point that I was making here is that Kaivalya, the highest type of Kaivalya in the purport in yesterday's verse, Srila Prabhupada in the purport said, if you are able to absorb yourself in the pastimes of Krishna all the time, that absorption, while you are absorbed like that, you have actually achieved the highest Kaivalya. That means it's even beyond going and merging into Brahman. So, I'll show you what is Daiva Varnashram. 1 second. Actually, I just opened this page today, and it's good that you asked this question, because this actually shows the regular and okay. So Mataji, Vrajkishori Mataji is asking, what is the difference between Daiva Varnashrama and Varnashrama that we hear about? Even the other day, Prabhuji also asked that Mahaprabhu rejected Varnashrama Dharma. So the understanding is, if you see here, how do I make this? See, in the middle, the Samanya Varnashrama or regular Varnashrama is here. As I say all the time, the Lord has given 3 paths. One is Jnana Marga, one is Bhakti Marga. To achieve the absolute truth, there's 2 paths, Jnana Marga and Bhakti Marga. But for one to take to Jnana Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, there is a qualification. There is a prerequisite. Unless you have that, you cannot just begin Jnana Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. So for Jnana Yoga, the qualification is Antakarna Shuddhi. For Bhakti Yoga, the qualification is Dhrida Shraddha. However, any human being, anywhere, if you are simply a human being, all human beings are eligible to do karma. Every human being, anyone who has taken birth as a human being is not just eligible, he is required to do karma. I mean, required means he has to follow dharma. So he is qualified. If you take birth as a human being, then you're qualified to do karma, like that. So karma is what then? Karma means that which is prescribed in Shastras. So then what is that karma? Varnashrama dharma itself is called karma. Varnashrama dharma. But Varnashrama dharma people do for different motivations. So ideally, what the Shastra's idea is, so if you see in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, And even in the early stages of Kali Yuga, Varnashrama is meant for the entire society. It is not for a specific class of people that, because we are devotees, therefore we should follow Varnashrama. No, no, no. Varna ashrama means human society must be divided into groups as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. These are social orders. Based on what? Based on their psychophysical nature. It is already there in them. But because the whole thing is, it has to be identified and then the person has to be engaged according to his nature in that particular activity. He has to be trained in that work and then he has to be engaged. So that is the idea of dharma, the Varnashrama dharma. So Varnashrama dharma is there in every yuga. It's there in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga. Varnashrama dharma is there, no doubt. When you say Samanya Varnashrama dharma, so this is for everyone in society. Everybody in society. What will happen? What does a typical Varnashrama society look like? In a Varnashrama society, of course, the society is divided into Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Even in Mahabharata, you will hear, whenever there is any, Draupadi Swayamvara, for example, or any, such big yagya is being performed, there is a separate gallery, right, for the Brahmanas, a separate, a gallery for the Kshatriyas, for the Vaishyas, for the Shudras, separately. That means all the Brahmanas sit together. All the Kshatriyas sit together. Similarly, their accommodations also, their living places, communities, all the Brahmanas live together. All the Kshatriyas live together. Like that. Vaishyas and Shudras, like that. That's how they live. So that's how a society is. And the center of a Varnashrama community is Lord Vishnu. This is the highlight of Varnashrama society. Samanya Varnashrama society. The center of a Varnashrama society is Lord Vishnu. Every community, they will have a temple. So if you see old movies, black and white movies in India, you will see always there is, people go to the temple, right? They have a temple of Lord Kṛṣṇa or Lord Vishnu, and everyone goes to the temple. They pray to the Lord. If there's any trouble, somebody is sick in the house or they're poverty stricken, they go and pray to the Lord all the time. Or something nice, they go and celebrate. That is a Varnashrama society. Lord Vishnu is in the center. So whatever work they do, the result they go and offer to the Lord. And if they are in difficulty, they go and pray to the Lord. Material, obviously, on the material platform, any difficulty, they go and pray to the Lord. What is the result of this type of Varnashrama, Samanya Varnashrama? You do your karma according to your nature, and that karma you're offering to the Lord for his satisfaction. You're offering the karma, and so you do karma according to your nature as a Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and whatever you earn, you bring it to the Lord and you offer to the Lord and accept as his prasada. This is called karma arpanam, and you offer it to the Lord with love. You offer it to the Lord. What is the result of this? So this is not called Shuddha Bhakti. Varnashrama society doing karma arpanam is not called Shuddha Bhakti. Even though you are worshipping the Lord, and also there will be some Sakshat Bhakti also you will be doing, like bhajans and all that also you will be singing. So this becomes Karma Mishra Bhakti. That means You're doing some karma, and that also includes, because human being means, Narad Muni says, human being means there are duties that a human being is supposed to do. In that list, he says Shravana Kirtana Adi Rupa Bhakti. That means when you're a human being, you have to do Shravan Kirtan, just being a human being. That is part of the duties of a human being. So in a Varnashrama society, that is expected of human beings to do Shravan Kirtan also. The thing is, nothing will give result unless there is bhakti. Bhakti has to be there. So they're offering their karma to the Lord, and also they do this. But they're doing karma, that is the point. By doing karma arpanam all your life to the Lord, if at the time of death, if you're able to remember the Lord, what will be your destination? This is Samanya Varnashram. Your destination, this is the path. You go to Vaikuntha, and in Vaikuntha you get Salokya Adi Mukti. Salokya, Samipya, Sarupya, Sarshti, like this. One of these muktis you'll get. Salokya Mukti means you'll get Sukha Aishwarya. That means you'll get opulence and you'll get transcendental happiness, right? That means no miseries, and you'll get Aishwarya, opulence. But it is not material. It is not material. This Varnashram system here, this is different than Karmi Varnashram. In Karmi Varnashram, one is worshipping the demigods for material results. In this world, they want some material result. They're worshipping the Lord for the sake of material result. In Samanya Varnashram, they are not worshipping the Lord for material results. When they have some problems, they go Artho, Artharthi, Jigyasu. They all come in this category. When they are in difficulty, they go to the Lord. Even if they are in poverty and they are suffering, they want some money, anything, they approach the Lord. But it's not that they go to the Lord only because they want something, and once they get it, they forget the Lord. It's not like that. That would be here, karmis. They'll just take something from the Lord and then forget it. These Varnashrama people, it's part of their lifestyle. Worshipping Lord Vishnu is their lifestyle. After they get what they want also, they will continue worshipping the Lord. But when there is difficulty, they will ask the Lord, I'm in difficulty, please give me something. Or I'm suffering, please mitigate my miseries. Like that. But it's not that after they get what they want, they leave. No, it's not like that. They will continue worshipping the Lord. He's like, like part of their family member. So they keep worshipping Lord Vishnu. What is the result of this? And what is their expectation? They aspire for Sukha Aishwarya, not in the material world. They want Sukha Aishwarya, eternal happiness. Right? No misery. Eternally, you live happily and no death and, opulence, beauty, like that. And they get that. And they go to Vaikuntha, they get that. However, because they did not aspire for a relationship with the Lord, because when you say bhakti, in bhakti there is a relationship. Of course, there is Shanta Rasa. That is there. In Goloka, there is also Shanta Rasa, where there is awe and reverence for the Supreme Lord. That is also a relationship. Having with awe and reverence, you're looking at the Lord. That is also one relationship. But there is no active exchange of service there. But there is a relationship, awe and reverence, right? You're like at the greatness of the Lord. You're in great awe. But here, Samanya Varnashrama people, they go to Vaikuntha, they get mukti, but they don't have a relationship. There is no active service. Why? Because they did not get the association of a pure devotee. They didn't get the association of a pure devotee. Pure devotee means, obviously, when you do pure devotion, that is when you get a relationship with the Lord. So when will you get pure devotion? When you get the mercy of another pure devotee, when he gives the seed of pure devotee, that's when you'll get a relationship. So they are in a varnashram, but this is a ripe, this is nice, favorable ground, because they are not committing any sinful activities. They are already worshipping Lord Vishnu. If they get the association of a pure devotee, then they're in a very, nice situation to receive the mercy. So that's the advantage. That is why for us also here, when we say Daiva Varnashram, if you divide, because people who are following Varnashram, they are in the mode of goodness. They will be in the mode of goodness. When you are in the mode of goodness, then you are very receptive. When you get mercy, it's like when the soil is fertile, as soon as you put a seed, immediately it will sprout. But if the soil is barren and rocky, even if you put a nice seed, it's not able to come up. So being in a Varnashrama society is helping us to be in the mode of goodness. Then in that situation, being in the mode of goodness, when we get the association of devotees, very quickly we'll be able to progress. That is the idea. So Samanya Varnashram and Daiva Varnashram, what is the main difference? The goal. In Daiva Varnashram, your goal is pure devotion. You want a relationship with the Supreme Lord. You want pure devotional service, but you don't have the qualification yet. So because you don't have qualification, you cannot just go to Bhakti Marga leaving all your karmas now. You have to do karma. What will happen if you just drop everything and go here? That means I'll give up all my work and everything, but I don't have Dridha Shraddha. I go here, then I'll become a mithyachari. Mithyachari means pretender. Because I didn't get the firm faith to do 24-hour devotional service, but I'm not doing work also. I gave up all my dharma, my work. And here I am, but I'm not doing this and I'm not doing this. What will I do if I'm not doing this in between? I'll be cheating. I will be pretending. Externally, I'm pretending like I'm a devotee, but in my heart, I don't have that drive to do it all the time. So that's not called for. You shouldn't do that. Rather, you stay here and while doing your dharma, your work according to your nature, you keep building your Dridha Shraddha. How to build? What is the difference between Varnashram, Samanya Varnashram, regular Varnashram and Daiva Varnashram? In Daiva Varnashram, because your goal is pure devotion, you will be associating with pure devotees all the time, engaging in Shravanam. You will be hearing from Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and your work will be very simplified because you want to save time for Shravanam Kirtanam. And as much, as your Shraddha increases, proportionately, your bhajan also will increase. So you will be associating with devotees here, cultivating. It is something like what can I say? Yeah, it's just like devotees living in a community. But we have devotee communities now in different parts of the world. The only thing is the work that we do for our living is not matching. We are not doing work as it is enjoined in scriptures, right? Brahmanas' duties, Kshatriyas' duties, Vaishya's duties, Shudras' duties. And we don't have like a complete, when you say a body has hands, legs, head, stomach, then the body is, functioning independently. Like that, if you have a community with a head, with hands, with belly, with legs, that means Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras. That means a group of people who are producing, group of people who are protecting, group of people who are guiding everyone from Shastra. And then there's a group of people who are assisting, doing all the other activities. Then this is a nice, complete community, self-sufficient community. But the goal of this community is pure devotional service. That is the difference here. Daiva Varnashram Dharma and Samanya Varnashrama difference is, here the goal is pure devotional service. And this Samanya Varnashram, this is what people follow. This is for everybody in society. Daiva Varnashram is specifically for the aspirants of pure devotional service. So, for the whole society, there has to be Varnashrama. But devotees who have taken initiation, they should be in Daiva Varnashrama societies. They should be in Daiva Varnashram societies. And then seeing the devotee communities the rest of the society will also follow. So they will also become Daiva Varnashram. That means Daiva Varnashram means what? It is Varnashram for the sake of pure devotional service. The goal is different. In Samanya Varnashram, what is the goal? You want Salokya Adi Mukti. That means liberation, no coming back to this material world. And after going to Vaikuntha also, you'll live eternally with all happiness and opulence, like that. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, quoting again from Srimad Bhagavatam, that a devotee will never accept even these 5 muktis if that mukti is not accompanied by seva. If there is no devotional service and if somebody offered you mukti, devotee will not accept that. Mukti means what? No more birth, death, no miseries of this world. Still a devotee will not accept it. He will say no. For him, seva is important. And if somebody says that you have to go to hell, makes no difference to a devotee. For a devotee, hell, heaven, or even liberation, right? He doesn't see any difference. For him, it is all the same. He doesn't, because he doesn't see, oh, papa and punya and this. No, for him, his concern is he needs to have his devotional service to Krishna. He needs that relationship and that seva. If that is there, then he doesn't mind. He'll be happy in hell also if he has his devotional service. If that is not there, even in liberation, he's not happy. His thing is he wants service, but that is not there here. Even though they're worshipping Lord Vishnu, their ultimate goal is Salokya Mukti, right? You will hear Moksham or Salokya Mukti, like that. They will live happily ever after in the spiritual world. But it is not the same as Karmi is going to Swarga, because Swarga is temporary. After that, they'll come back to this material world. Here, there is no coming back. This is liberation. You go to Vaikuntha, but there is no relationship. There is no seva. You are living nicely in your opulent palace, comfortably, eternally, you are living. That is mukti. Is that okay, Rajakishori Mataji? Okay, I'll just start our shloka now.
Thank you, Mataji.
Sure. So we are reading the next verse. I gave the introduction already. We'll just continue. So Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma are crawling now in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. So this is Brahma Samhita meter. Tav-aṅghri-yugmam anukṛṣya sarīsṛpantau ghoṣa-praghoṣa-ruciraṁ vraja-kardameṣu tan-nāda-hṛṣṭa-manasāv anusṛtya lokaṁ mugdha-prabhītavad upeyatur mātroḥ mugdha-prabhītavad upeyatur mātroḥ. So further, we are hearing from Sukadeva Goswami about Krishna Balarāma's crawling pastimes. Tav means both of them, Rama and Keshava. That means Krishna and Balarāma. Their aṅghri-yugmam means their 2 lotus feet. Anukṛṣya means dragging. Sarīsṛpantau. Sarīsṛp means reptiles like snakes. That means those that in Hindi they say sarakna, right? So they move in a, what do you say? Like this. Not straight, right? Like this. Sideways. They go like.
Slithering.
Slither. Slither. Yes. Slithering. Like that. So like that. So Tav aṅghri-yugmam anukṛṣya. By dragging both their lotus feet, they're dragging and they're, like a snake would go, right? Like that. They're just moving like this, slithering. Sarīsṛpantau. And then ghoṣa-praghoṣa-ruciraṁ. So on their ankles, they have bells, ankle bells, nupur. And also around their waist, they have bells. And maybe in their wrists also, in different places. But specifically on their ankles and around their waist, they have these bells. So when they crawl, these bells start ringing. Ghoṣa-praghoṣa. So they are making this sound. So ghosha means the bells. Praghosha means they're making sounds. Very, what do you say? Ruciraṁ means very pleasing to hear. Sound. Ghoṣa-praghoṣa-ruciraṁ. So those bells, ghosha, are making praghosha sounds. Those sounds are very pleasing to hear. Vraja-kardameṣu. So when they're crawling like this, dragging their legs, right? Aṅghri-yugmam, both their feet, anukṛṣya, dragging, and slithering like a serpent would go, right? Sideways, crooked, not going straight, but like this, like that. So when they're going, the bells around their waist and their ankles are ringing. They're making sound, which is very, very pleasing to hear. And like this, where are they crawling? They're crawling in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj. And that may be sometimes a little outside the courtyard. But in vraja-kardameṣu. Kardameṣu means kichad, right? Burada, kichad. So kardameṣu is like what will you call it in English? Kichad ko kya bolte hain?
Mud?
Yeah, mud. Like after it rains, right? Like slurry. It's mud, but it is wet. So it's wet with what? With cow urine and milk, because it is vraja. So in the courtyard, there is some calves, So it is the mud, the soil is wet with cow urine, cow's milk, like that. And also the soil is really soft in vraja. Vraja means the dust of Vrindavan, of Vraja. It's why it is so soft, because the cows, when they move with their hooves, the soil becomes really soft and fine. So it's very soft. And on top of that, now when it becomes wet by cow urine and cow milk, it becomes really soft and also wet. Kichad jaisa, right? It is wet. So now they are crawling in that. So you may wonder that if they're crawling, then how the bells are ringing, because it's wet. So that wet mud can get stuck, isn't it, in the bells? So the bells shouldn't ring. No, they would still ring. There was no problem. The bells would be ringing, and tan-nāda-hṛṣṭa-manasāv anusṛtya lokaṁ. Acha, tan-nāda-hṛṣṭa-manasāv. That means the sound, those bells, nada, sound, hṛṣṭa-manasa, they would become very happy. The boys, Kṛṣṇa, Balarāma, would be very happy by hearing that bell. They didn't know that the sound is coming from them. They didn't know that the sound is coming from their ankle bells or from their bells around the waist. All they knew was when they moved, this wonderful sound, of the bells is coming, and that would just make them so happy. They would become very happy, as if, they got something very wonderful, like they gained something. They got a wonderful gift, like that. They would be really amused by that sound. So in order to hear that sound, they would just keep moving around all over the courtyard, here, there, everywhere. They would just be moving. Because when they moved, they would hear this sound, and this sound would just make their hearts so happy. So Kṛṣṇa Balaram are enjoying this rasa, childhood. Now they are enjoying the childhood pastimes, babyhood pastimes. So they really enjoyed this sound. They didn't know where it is coming from. And while they're crawling, when they would hear, they would just become amused. And in order to enjoy that, they would just keep moving here and there all the time in the courtyard. tan-nāda-hṛṣṭa-manasāv. That sound, by that sound, their hearts, mind means you can take heart, will become very happy. Then another thing is anusṛtya lokaṁ mugdha. Anusṛtya means following. Lokaṁ means people. So sometimes while crawling, they would go out of the courtyard, maybe on the street, and they would see some people walking, let's say some ladies walking, and they would mistake the ladies to be their mothers. So mugdha, right? They would be, what do you say? Mugdha means out of affection or being mugdha ho jana. How do you say that? Like wonderstruck, or, they would just see, like they would become very happy, or they would think it's their mother, right? The mother's walking. So they would start crawling behind them, following behind them, thinking that it is Yaśodā and Rohiṇī. So they will just be crawling behind them. Anusṛtya lokaṁ. They would be following anusṛtya lokaṁ, people who are walking out on the street. Maybe men also, some gopas, they may think maybe it's their father, like that. So they would see some people walking outside, and they would think this is someone that they know from home. And they would just following them. They would be following them, happily. But then the boy, the people walking, they would turn around and they would see, oh, these boys are so beautiful. They're so wonderful. Look at them. And then the boys would realize, oh, this is not my mother, or this is not my father, like that. And then prapibatoḥ, they would appear to be very fearful. Prabhita, not just fearful, but really fearful. Oh, this is not my mother. But interestingly, it is said, prabhita, prakrishtena bhita, that means really fearful. What means like, as if they are extremely fearful. They would appear like they got really scared. Why it is said as if? Because in reality, they are not really fearful. The Supreme Lord. So they are not actually experiencing fear like that. That's why it is said prabhitavat, as if they are afraid. They would just turn around and very quickly, upeyatur, right? They would return quickly. They will be quickly going back. How will they go back? Again, crawling only, right? But very fast, as if they're running, right? Out of fear. They just turn around and quickly they would start going back, mātroḥ, towards their mothers. Okay? aṅghri-yugmam anukṛṣya sarīsṛpantau. aṅghri-yugmam, with their 2 lotus feet, anukṛṣya, dragging, sarīsṛpantau, moving crookedly, not straight, like a serpent. ghoṣa-praghoṣa-ruciraṁ, the bells around their, waist and ankles would be ringing, and those bells would sound very sweet. vraja-kardameṣu. So with these bells ringing sweetly around them, so they're now crawling, right? They're dragging their legs, their feet, and they're crawling, and like a serpent would go in a crooked way like this. And while they're going, their bells are ringing, and those bells are sounding very sweet. And where are they doing that? Where are they crawling? Vraja-kardameṣu, in the soil, in the dirt of Vraja, dust of Vraja, but it's not dust, it is wet now, with cow urine and cow milk. So they would be crawling there. And while they're crawling, hearing the sound, the sweet sound of the bells, tan-nāda, they would become very happy. ḥṛṣṭa-manasāv. So they'll be so happy, so amused, and they'll just keep moving just to enjoy because they could figure out that when they moved, this bell sound is coming, but they don't know where it's coming from. But they know that whenever they move, they hear this wonderful sound. So they would just be crawling and enjoying, feeling very happy hearing that sound. And while going like that, sometimes anusṛtya lokaṁ mugdha. They would follow some people thinking that this is my mother, right? So very happily they would be mother or father, right? Someone that they know, some family member. So they would be following happily. But when the people would turn around, they would realize, oh, this is not my father or mother. And prapibatoḥ, as if they're really scared, they would turn around and very quickly they would return to their mothers. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. When Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma, with the strength of their legs, crawled in the muddy places, muddy, that's what it is, muddy. Crawled in the muddy places created in Vraja by cow dung and cow urine, their crawling resembled the crawling of serpents, and the sound of their ankle bells was very charming. Very much pleased by the sound of other people's ankle bells, so other people's ankle bells, they used to follow these people as if going to their mothers. But when they saw that these were other people, they became afraid and returned to their real mothers, Yaśodā and Rohiṇī. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma were crawling about Vrajabhumi, they were enchanted by the sound of the ankle bells, their own ankle bells. So they would be enchanted when they are crawling, they are enchanted by the sound of ankle bells. Thus, they sometimes followed other people. So they would also hear the ankle bells of other people and they would follow, who would enjoy the crawling of Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma and exclaim, oh, see how Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma are crawling. Upon hearing this, Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma could understand that these were not their mothers. They were following, and they would return to their actual mothers. Thus, the crawling of Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma was enjoyed by the people of the neighborhood, as well as by Mother Yaśodā and Rohiṇī and the two children themselves. So this crawling pastime of Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma is enjoyed by Yaśodā Mai, Rohiṇī, the people around, and also by Kṛṣṇa Balarāma themselves. They also enjoyed it. So we'll also see if there is a commentary by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Yes. So, tav aṅghri-yugmam anukṛṣya sarīsṛpantau. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma crawled about the courtyard on their hands and knees, and in a crooked way, they moved through the dirt, which was mixed with cow milk and urine. Their ankle bells tinkled pleasantly like the sound of kartals or the voices of the gopis and gopas. So another meaning of ghoṣa-praghoṣa would be, ghosha means the voice of gopis, and praghoṣa means the voice of gopas. So the tinkling of the bells sounded like the voice of gopis and gopas. The cowherdmen became blissful upon hearing their jingling ankle bells. Sridhar Swami says ghosha means bells. When strangers came in the yard, the two boys, thinking they were their mothers, would joyfully crawl after them. When they realized their mistake, the two brothers would suddenly become fearful and scamper back to their mothers. And mugdha-prabhītavad, mugdha-prabhītavad means enchanted and afraid. So why were they following? Because they were enchanted. But when the people turned around, they became afraid, or at least it appeared like they were afraid. The suffix vat is used to indicate that Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma were playing the part of ordinary children who make mistakes and experience fear. But in reality, they were not ordinary children. So it would appear like, like ordinary children would get scared, like that it would appear. But the fact is, they are not ordinary children. They are the Supreme Lord, like that. Okay. I have to do Bhagavad Gita also. Okay, one more verse. Okay, next verse. tan-mātarau nija-sutau ghṛṇayā snuvantyau paṅkāṅga-rāga-rucirāv upagṛhya dorbhyām dattvā stanaṁ prapibatoḥ mukhaṁ nirīkṣya mugdha-smitālpa-daśanaṁ yayatuḥ pramodam tan-mātarau nija-sutau ghṛṇayā snuvantyau paṅkāṅga-rāga-rucirāv upagṛhya dorbhyām dattvā stanaṁ prapibatoḥ mukhaṁ nirīkṣya mugdha-smitālpa-daśanaṁ yayatuḥ pramodam. Tan-mātarau. Tan means again there, Kṛṣṇa Balarāma's. Mātarau, mothers. Nija-sutau means for their own sons. Nija means their own son. That means Yaśodā Mai for Kṛṣṇa and Rohiṇī Mai for Balarāma, like that, for their son. ghṛṇayā. ghṛṇayā means affection. Vatsalya, out of motherly affection. Snuvantyau. Snuvantyau means because of motherly affection, milk would be dripping from their breasts out of motherly affection all the time. Because what is that milk? That milk is actually the love of the mother. So therefore, Yaśodā Mai and Rohiṇī Mai, milk would be dripping from their breasts because of ghṛṇayā, affection for nija-sutau, for their sons. So tan-mātarau, so such mothers, their mothers, whose breasts would be dripping with milk because of their affection for their sons. So what would their mothers do? paṅkāṅga-rāga-rucirāv upagṛhya dorbhyām. So Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma, now they're crawling in the courtyard. And what is the condition of the ground? It is muddy with cow urine, cow milk. So it is all wet. And Kṛṣṇa Balarāma are crawling. So what happens? You know what is aṅghri-yugmam? Aṅghri-yugmam can be, like makeup, or it can be some perfume, sandalwood paste or something. Like something that you apply on the body, like a cosmetic. Aṅghri-yugmam is like a cosmetic, which makes the body very fragrant and beautiful, like that. So Yaśodā Mai and the mothers would apply something, on the bodies of Kṛṣṇa to be fragrant. So aṅghri-yugmam was there. And then when they would go and crawl in the dirt, all that dirt also would be applied on top of that cosmetic, whatever was applied by the mothers. Or another meaning is that dirt, paṅkā means burada or kichad, right? Like mud, wet mud. So that was on their bodies because of crawling on the ground. That was all over their body. Paṅkā, that paṅkā, that wet mud, that itself was acted like a cosmetic on their body. Okay, they were covered with, like you put uptan, right? Like that. So, but now it was all dirt on their body. But still, even though they were covered with dirt, ruciraṁ, they looked even more beautiful with that. Kṛṣṇa Balaram covered with dirt, baby Kṛṣṇa Balaram crawling, they looked even more beautiful. Normally only they're beautiful. Now with that, they looked even more beautiful. So mothers, what would they do? The mothers who have so much love for their sons that their breasts are always overflowing with milk for them. Those mothers, when they saw their boys covered all over in dirt, they would think, oh, they look so beautiful. I mean, out of love, they would just pick up their son with both their arms. Upagṛhya, dorbhyām. Dorbhyām with both arms. Upagṛhya. They would pick up the boys. That means they wouldn't mind, they wouldn't even consider that, oh, they are covered with dirt or anything. They are just in love with their boys, right? So they would just pick them up and think that they're so beautiful. Out of love, out of affection, they would just pick up the boys with their dirt and everything. And then what would they do? Because already milk is, dripping from their breasts. So dattvā stanaṁ, they would offer their breast milk to the babies, to the son. So like Yaśodā would offer to Kṛṣṇa and Rohiṇī is offering to Balaramji. So dattvā stanaṁ, the mother would offer her breast milk to the baby, and prapibatoḥ, while they're drinking, and they would drink. When the mother offered breast milk, then prapibatoḥ, the boys are drinking. Sma mukhaṁ, and while the boy is drinking, sma mukhaṁ nirīkṣya, the mothers, so the mother is offering her breast milk to the baby, and as the baby is drinking, the mother is nirīkṣya, observing the face, beautiful face of the child. So she offers her breast milk, and while the boys are drinking milk, the mothers are carefully observing, or nirīkṣya. Nirīkṣya means, like, how do you say? Like very scrutinizingly, right? Nirīkṣya, they're just looking at the face of the child, right? Very, very, I guess, attentively, right? Looking at the face of the child. Sma mukhaṁ nirīkṣya. And what do they see? Mugdha-smita. Now the boys, they're drinking milk. So naturally, when little babies are drinking mother's milk, they're experiencing bliss. They're happy, right? Babies, when they drink mother's milk, they're very happy. So mugdha-smita, out of happiness, while drinking milk, they are smiling. Kṛṣṇa Balaram, as they're drinking mother's milk, they're smiling because they're happy. Mugdha-smita. And because they're smiling and they're drinking and smiling, so there's a gap in the mouth, right? When they're smiling, while drinking, they're also smiling. So the mothers could see inside the mouth. What did they see? Alpa daśanaṁ. Daśanam means teeth. Alpa means less. So you can say very few teeth because they're still small babies, right? So maybe how do the baby first? They get 2 teeth, right? Either usually lower teeth come first and then the upper teeth. Like that, very few teeth are there. Or you can say very small teeth. They're just seeing now, oh, their teeth are coming in, small teeth. So while the babies are drinking milk and smiling a little bit, the mothers are nirīkṣya, right? They're observing carefully. They look in the mouth and they see small teeth coming in, and seeing that, yayatuḥ pramodam. Oh, they become so, it gives them so much joy. They get transcendental bliss. They enjoy transcendental bliss by seeing small teeth coming inside the mouth of their boys. tan-mātarau nija-sutau ghṛṇayā snuvantyau. tan-mātarau, their mothers, nija-sutau, for their sons, ghṛṇayā, out of affection, snuvantyau, their breasts are dripping with milk. Such mothers, what do? Upagṛhya dorbhyām, with both arms they're picking up their boys. What is their condition? paṅkāṅga-rāga-rucirāv. They are covered with, dirt all over the body. Angarag, like a cosmetic. The whole body is covered with dirt. Still, rucirāv, to the mothers, they look so beautiful. And out of love, they just pick the boys up with both their hands. And then what do? Because their breasts are already dripping with milk, dattvā stanaṁ, they offer their breast to the babies to drink milk. And while the babies are drinking, prapibatoḥ, mukhaṁ nirīkṣya, they are carefully, not getting the right word, but they're observing the face of the child as the child is drinking milk. And what is the condition of the child? Mugdha-smita. They are smiling little bit because they're happy to drink mother's milk. They're smiling. And because they're smiling, the mothers are able to see inside the mouth. What are they seeing? Alpa-daśanaṁ. Small teeth are coming, or very few teeth are there. So the mothers, when they see small teeth, yayatuḥ pramodam, seeing those teeth, they become so happy, right? They experience transcendental bliss. They're enjoying transcendental bliss. Dressed with muddy earth, mixed with cow dung and cow urine. The babies dressed with means what? That means now they're covered completely. They're wearing the dress of muddy earth, which is mixed with cow dung and cow urine. Dressed with muddy earth mixed with cow dung and cow urine. The babies looked very beautiful, rucirav. And when they went to their mothers, both Yaśodā and Rohiṇī picked them up with great affection, embraced them, and allowed them to suck the milk flowing from their breasts. While sucking the breast, the babies smiled and their small teeth were visible. Their mothers, upon seeing those beautiful teeth, enjoyed great transcendental bliss. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. As the mothers cared for their respective babies, by the arrangement of Yogamaya, the babies thought, here is my mother. And the mothers thought, here is my son. Well, they are mother and son. But yeah. So the babies thought, this is my mother, and the mothers thought, here is my son. Because of affection, milk naturally flowed from the mother's breasts, and the babies drank it. When the mothers saw small teeth coming in, they would count them and be happy. And when the babies saw their mothers allowing them to drink their breast milk, the babies also felt transcendental pleasure. That is why they were smiling, mugdha-smita, right? Because they're very happy when they get to drink mother's milk. The babies also felt transcendental pleasure. As this transcendental affection continued between Rohiṇī and Balarāma and Yaśodā and Kṛṣṇa, they all enjoyed transcendental bliss. Everyone was enjoying. Mother Yaśodā, Kṛṣṇa, Rohiṇī, and Balramji. Everybody was enjoying transcendental bliss. So in this verse, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying, Mother Yaśodā and Rohiṇī felt tremendous joy upon lifting the two children in their arms. The two mothers took both children as their own. The nija-sutau is said, right? So nija-sutau. So they took the boys as their own children. And the two children took both mothers as their own. Due to motherly affection, ghṛṇayā, milk flowed freely, snuvantyau, from the breasts of Yaśodā and Rohiṇī. The dust on the bodies of Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma enhanced their beauty and attraction, just like cosmetics. So when you put makeup, you're supposed to become more beautiful. But when covered by this muddy earth, they looked even more beautiful. The dust on the bodies of Kṛṣṇa and Balarāma enhanced their beauty and attraction, just like cosmetics. This is established by using the metaphor of Sundare Kimna Sundaram. Sundare Kimna Sundaram. An ornament looks more beautiful on a beautiful person. Yes? Ornament, so this is said about the deities. It's not that when you put, or on Kṛṣṇa, it's not that when you put the jewelry on Kṛṣṇa, Kṛṣṇa becomes more beautiful. Rather, that jewelry, the piece of jewelry becomes more beautiful when it is put on Kṛṣṇa. So the saying is Sundare Kimna Sundaram. So an ornament looks more beautiful when it is on a beautiful person. Not that the person is becoming beautiful by the ornament. Then mouth, mukhaṁ, is in singular, right? Mukhaṁ. Yes, sma mukhaṁ, right? Nirīkṣya. Yes, the mothers are looking at the, while the children are drinking, they are looking at the mouth. So mouth is said in singular because each mother concentrated on the mouth of her own child, one child. So each mother is concentrating on one child. So therefore mukhaṁ, singular, is used. The mothers derived great pleasure from seeing one or two small teeth, alpa-daśanaṁ, in their innocent smiling mouths, mugdha-smitālpa. Okay. So we will stop Srimad Bhagavatam reading here and let's read Bhagavad Gita. So in Bhagavad Gita, let us quickly, because I think we didn't get a chance to see the connections. So we saw that Kṛṣṇa answered, what is Prakriti and Purusha? From 20th verse onwards, Kṛṣṇa started talking about Prakriti and Purusha. So Prakriti and Purusha. Purusha means the conditioned soul covered by avidya and ahankara. So Prakriti, external energy, and the living entity, both are eternal, beginningless, and the relationship is also beginningless. That means since when the soul is conditioned, there is no beginning. Then vikaramscha gunamschaiva viddhi prakriti sambhavan. And whatever transformations you are seeing, all that is happening by Prakriti. Transformations that you see from boyhood to youth, youth to old age. You're seeing transformations everywhere. So that transformation is happening how? Because of Prakriti. Then the next verse, Kṛṣṇa is saying, Karya karana kartatve hetu prakriti ruchyate purusha sukha dukkhanam bhoktatve hetu ruchyate. So, for Karya karana and karta, that means Karya karana karta, any activity that is happening in the material world, who is responsible for that? Prakriti is responsible. In what way? There are three things. There's Karya, Karana and Karta. Karana is the senses. Karta is the controlling deity. Controlling deity. For every sense, there is a controlling deity. For example, for the eyes, there is Surya Amsha. Amsha of Surya. That's the controlling deity. That is the Karta. Unless that deity moves, eyes will not function. And then what is Karya? The object that the eyes are seeing. That is the Karya. So, for any activity to happen, these three players are required. If one of them is not there, it will not happen. All these three are coming from where? From Prakriti. Karya, Karana, Karta. All three are Prakriti. So, who is the cause for Karya, Karana and Karta? Prakriti. And who is cause for the happiness and distress? Purusha. Because he is claiming, right? He is claiming to enjoy or suffer. By identifying himself with this body, he is claiming. So, living entity covered by avidya He is responsible for his happiness and distress. And for all the activities that are happening in this world, who is responsible? Prakriti is responsible. Purusha prakritisto hi bhungte prakriti jan gunan karanam guna sangosya sadasad yoni janmasu. So this Purusha, living entity who is covered by avidya, is situated where? In Prakriti. This body is made of Prakriti. The living entity is in this body. So he is situated in this Prakriti. Prakritistohi. And what is he doing? Bhungte Prakriti Jan Gunan. He is enjoying objects which are made by Prakriti. Enjoying means he is claiming to enjoy. How spirit will enjoy matter? But he claims to enjoy. So Bhungte Prakriti Jan Gunan. And these things are made by Prakriti. Prakriti is consisting of the modes. So everything that you see, these objects, it is nothing but it's made of modes. So, and he is enjoying Bhungte Prakriti Jan Gunan. Karanam Guna Sangosya Sadasad Yoni Janmasu. And he keeps changing bodies. And how? What is the cause for his getting different bodies? Sometimes higher body, sometimes lower body, sometimes as animal, sometimes as demigod, as human being, beautiful, ugly. What is the cause for these different bodies? Different yonis is taking birth. The cause is guna sanga, association of modes. So if he's associating with the mode of goodness, then he will get body in the mode of goodness. In passion, then he'll get like that. So the cause is guna sanga. Karanam guna sangosya sad asad yoni janmasu. Sad asad. Sometimes in good, sometimes in evil, good and bad bodies he'll take birth. That means higher and lower bodies. Then in this body, while talking about Prakriti and Purusha, Purusha means we saw it's a conditioned soul, but there is another Purusha in this body, Paramatma. What is his role? He is different from this person, who's the enjoyer. This Paramatma is upadrashta. Upadrashta means he's the witness. Anumanta, he sanctions. Bharta. Bharta means palan karne wala, right? He is the one who is maintaining. Bhokta. Bhokta means he's carrying, right? He's carrying. We also saw how my consciousness is limited to this body. How is my consciousness limited to this body? And how, even though I am situated in the heart, I feel when there is a thorn pricking my foot. I am so far away from the foot, but still I am feeling. How am I feeling? But how am I experiencing? It is my consciousness that is spreading throughout the body, because of which, if somebody pulls my hair on my head, I can feel. If there is a pin pricking my foot, I will feel, even though I am situated in the heart. How am I able to feel this? Because my consciousness is spread throughout the body. But why my consciousness is limited to only this body? Why it is not going outside this body? And how is my consciousness spreading to this body? Because Paramatma is there in the body and Paramatma has his consciousness. Paramatma's consciousness is everywhere. It is not limited to my body. His consciousness is there everywhere. That's why he is called Sarvakshetragya. But he carries my consciousness. My consciousness is able to go up to my foot because my consciousness is carried by Paramatma's consciousness. And Paramatma carries my consciousness only up to the limit of my body, not beyond that. As per my karma, like that. So, example for this is the way you light incense in a room. You light it somewhere downstairs and upstairs you're able to smell the fragrance. How you're smelling? Air is carrying that fragrance. Through air, it is carried up and you're able to smell it there. Similarly, the way air is carrying the fragrance of incense, Paramatma's consciousness is carrying the consciousness of the living entity. That's why when you say Bhokta, means he is the one who is maintaining or he is the one who is carrying. Maheshwaraha, he is the Lord. Paramatmeti chapyukto dehesmin purushah paraha. Right? So he is called Paramatma and he is there in this body, but he is the transcendental person, right? He is super soul. He is not the conditioned soul. So like this, Krishna said about Paramatma, another Purusha. Then, now who all did Krishna talk about? Of course, if you want to come from the beginning, he told about kshetra, kshetragya, jnanam, gyayam. Then from 20th verse onwards, Krishna spoke about Prakriti, Purusha, and after Purusha, he talked about Paramatma also. Now, ya evam vetti purusham prakritim cha gunai saha. One who vetti, knows. Knows means what should we take here? Realizes. Realizes. Realization and theoretical knowing is not the same. Realization comes by doing sadhana. Here, what type of sadhana you have to do? Nishkama karma yoga. And then jnana yoga. This is sadhana. By that you get realization. Not simply by theoretically, now the way we are discussing. This is, we are theoretically understanding. This is not realization. So here vetti means to realize. Ya evam vetti purusham. One who actually realizes this purusha. That means there is a spirit soul and prakriti cha gunaisa. Prakriti along with the modes. One who realizes sarvatha vartamanopi nasa bhuyo bhi jayate. Even though he is situated in this body, this living entity who can actually realize the Purusha and Prakriti along with its gunas, then he will not take birth again. He will get liberation. Nasa bhuyo bhi jayate. He will not take birth again. One who realizes Purusha, Prakriti along with its gunas, he will not take birth again, regardless of his present position. Sarvata vartamana. Okay. Then, now Krishna is saying, so now you understand about Paramatma. There is a Purusha who's actually the supreme super soul is there in the body, and he's the one who's sanctioning. How can one realize? Because one who realizes the Lord, then actually here Purusha means, I think you should take Paramatma, right? One who realizes this Paramatma and Prakriti along with the gunas, he will be liberated, isn't it? He won't take birth again. So then how to realize this Paramatma? You have to practice sadhana. There are different types of sadhanas. Dhyanen atmani pashyanti. One sees that Paramatma by dhyana yoga or, by bhakti, by meditation. Okay. Either bhakti or ashtanga yoga. Then kechid atmanam atmana. So by jnana yoga, that means by following jnana sadhanas, right? So one realizes. Or anye sankhyena yogena, by following sankhya yoga. Karma yogena chapare, and still others by nishkama karma yoga. So by following these different sadhanas, one realizes that Paramatma. Anye tvevam ajanantaha, and still others, even though they don't have any knowledge, shrutva-nyebhya upasate. Simply by, they have this, this good quality of hearing from authorities. They don't have knowledge but themselves, but when they are obedient to the authorities, by hearing from authorities, they'll simply follow what the authority is telling them to do. Though they themselves don't know, but they are obedient. They'll just follow. What about them? And then they will worship as they have been. So this is also bhakti yoga, right? Listening and then following. Tepi chati tarantyeva mrityum shruti parayana. They will also be liberated. They can also realize like that. Yavat sanjayate kinchit sattvam sthavara jangamam kshetra kshetragya samyogat tadvidhi bharatarshava. Yavat sanjayate kinchit sattvam sthavara jangamam. Whatever you see in this creation, whatever, any form, whatever living form you see, whether it is moving or not moving, kshetra kshetragya samyogat. It is simply a combination of kshetra and kshetragya. What is kshetra? Body. Kshetragya means soul. So any form of life you see in this material world, whatever it is, you should see whether it is moving or not moving. Not moving means like trees, mountains. Moving means like birds, animals, dogs, humans, demigods. Whatever you see, it is simply a combination of body and soul. Tadvidhi bharatarshava. Know this. O bharatarshava. Samam sarveshu bhuteshu tishtantam parameshwaram vinashyat swavinashyantam yah pashyati sa pashyati. One who is able to see that in all living entities, that Parameshwara, Paramatma is situated. And even though he is situated in this body which is destructible, He himself is indestructible. He is never destroyed. One who is able to see Paramatma like this is actually seeing the reality. And then further Srila Prabhupada explained us how one will be able to see like this only when you hear from a real, when you get real knowledge from a real knower, right? Somebody. So that when you hear from a true devotee, then you will know this, you will realize this. That means you'll be able to see Paramatma situated in, even Paramatma situated everywhere. And even though the Paramatma is situated in this material body, he is not destroyed. The body is destroyed, but he is never destroyed. Samam pashyan hi sarvatra samavastitam ishwaram nahinas na hinasti atman atmanam tato yati param gatim. So, samam pashyan hi sarvatra samavastitam ishwaram. Again, one who is seeing that this Paramatma is present in everyone. It is not that, and also it's one Paramatma only. It is not that there's a different Paramatma in your body, different Paramatma in my body. Not like that. He's seeing Paramatma present equally everywhere, and it's the same Paramatma. He's there everywhere. One who is who is able to see that one Paramatma everywhere, he will not degrade himself. What do you mean by seeing Paramatma everywhere? Remember, this is Jnana Yoga. 13 to 18 chapters is Jnana Yoga. So in Jnana Yoga, what is their goal? Seeing Brahman everywhere, right? So how will they see Brahman everywhere? By Nirbheda Jnana. Very good. So they don't see the difference between two objects. They don't see the qualities of each object. No, gold and stone. They don't see the quality of gold or the quality of stone. As a result, everything looks one. Everything looks, what is that one? So they'll simply see existence. In everything, they only see sattam, satta. Satta means what? Existence. They don't see any features of any object. And then what are they seeing then everywhere? Satta means Brahman. That is called Brahman. So one who is seeing like that, will he have to come back and take birth again? No, he will not. Once you reach that stage, then you will not fall down unless you commit offense to a Vaishnava or to the Supreme Lord. If you do that, then from that stage also you can fall down. But otherwise, you come to that stage of seeing Paramatma or Brahman everywhere, then you will not fall down again. Tato yati param gatim. You will get the higher destination, supreme destination. Prakrityaiva cha karmani kriyamanani sarvashaha yaha pashyati tathatmanam akartaram sapashyati. Prakriti eva cha karmani prakriti eva cha karmani kriyamanani sarvashaha. That means who is doing whatever work is happening, it is being done by the body. And this body is coming from where? This body is made of Prakriti. So really, all this work is being carried out by Prakriti. Yaha pashyati tatha atmanam akartaram sa pashyati. So whatever is being done by Prakriti. The soul is actually not doing anything. One who sees like this is actually seeing the truth, reality. So it is the modes, the material nature that is doing everything. So karya, karana, karta. What are these three? Prakriti. All activities are happening because of karya, karana, karta. The body, senses, all this is made of Prakriti. I am not doing anything. I am not doing anything. One who is able to see this, who will be able to see this? That Jnani, right? He sees that I am not doing anything. Sthita pragya, we see in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Even though he is eating, drinking, everything, he doesn't see that he is eating or he is enjoying. He sees that Prakriti, so that food is also Prakriti, my mouth is also Prakriti. So one part of Prakriti going into another part of Prakriti. I am not doing anything, I am simply here. I am different from this. One who sees like this, he is actually seeing Sthita Pragya's position. Then, yada bhuta prithak bhavam ekastham anupashyati tata evacha vistaram brahma sampadyate tada. Yada bhuta prithak bhavam ekastham anupashyati. That means he is not seeing, even though there are different bodies, right? So this is my friend, or, like I see there's a girl, there is a boy, there is cat, there is bird, there like different bodies are there. Prithak, Yada bhuta pritak bhavam ekastam anupashyati. But what is he seeing? Is he seeing so many different bodies? Even though the external bodies are different, he's seeing only one spirit soul everywhere. Right? He's seeing the same one. Ekastam anupashyati. Tata evacha vistaram. And that one spirit soul is there everywhere. One spirit soul means spirit soul. This is Jnani, so he's actually seeing Brahman everywhere, right? So, yada bhuta pritak bhavam ekastam anupashyati. He's seeing oneness. Basically, that's what it is. Nirbheda jnanam, right? So he's seeing oneness. He stops seeing different identities. What nirbheda jnanam, right? Whether it is people or objects. He's not seeing different. He's only seeing ekastam anupashyati. Tata evacha vistaram. And that one is spread everywhere. There's only one Brahman, which is spreading everywhere, all pervading. Brahma sampadyate tada, right? Such a person has achieved Brahman conception. I think till that yesterday. Okay. So now we'll read today's verse. Anaditva nirgunatvat paramatmayam avyayah sharirasthopi kaunteya na karoti na lipyate. Anaditvan nirgunatvat paramatmayam avyayah. So one thing to note here is this verse is talking about Paramatma, not the Jivatma. About Paramatma, what is it said? Anaditvat, anadi, that means it is beginningless. Nirgunatvat, nirguna means no material qualities. Paramatmayam, so this is Paramatma. Avyayah, avyayah means inexhaustible, inexhaustible. Right? So, Paramatma is Anadi, Nirguna, and Avyaya. Sharirasthopi kaunteya na karoti na lipyate. And even though this Paramatma is situated in the body, O son of Kunti, na karoti na lipyate. Right? Even though he is in this body, he is neither the doer nor does he get entangled. He is not the doer. Paramatma is not the doer. Who is the doer? The karma. Based on the karma, based on living entities karma, Prakriti is doing different things, right? And the living entities enjoying and suffering. Is Paramatma also getting entangled? Is Paramatma also getting abhimana that, oh, the body is getting hurt, or he enjoys? No, he is neither doing anything nor is he getting entangled. Okay, then I'll just read the translation purport and I'll let you go. Those with the vision of eternity can see that the imperishable soul is transcendental, eternal, and beyond the modes of nature. Despite contact with the material body, O Arjuna, the soul neither does anything nor is entangled. So, what I explained to you is Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. So, according to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, this verse is talking about Paramatma, and Srila Prabhupada also speaks from Srila Baladev Vidyabhushan's commentary. I don't know. I didn't read that, but we will read. So that's possible. That's why Srila Prabhupada is translating as the living entity here. Those with the vision of eternity can see that the imperishable soul... Yes, Mataji, I'll just finish and I'll take your question. Those with the vision of eternity can see that the imperishable soul is transcendental, eternal, and beyond the modes of nature. Despite contact with the material body, O Arjuna, the soul neither does anything nor is entangled. Purport. A living entity appears to be born because of the birth of the material body, but actually the living entity is eternal. He is not born, and in spite of his being situated in a material body, he is transcendental and eternal. So, Jivatma's characteristics, you remember? Jivatma has kartritvam, bhoktritvam, gyatritvam. That means doership. Jivatma has doership, living entity, right? Without the body, the living entity has, these are inherent characteristics of living entity. Kartritvam means doership. Gyatritvam means the ability to know. Bhoktritvam means the ability to enjoy. This is there in the living entity. Also, aham bhavam, that, ego, real ego is there in the individual living entity. Aham bhavam is there. And also, it is a conscious being, chit, right? Chit. But this chit is different from the Supreme Lord's chit. It's not the same. It's not that we are only quantitatively different and qualitatively same. Qualitatively also we are different. The Lord's chit is more powerful. This is chit is not as powerful as the Lord. Okay. So these are the characteristic features of the living entity. That means the living entity is transcendental, spiritual. It's not material. And it doesn't have a beginning and it has no death. Thus, he cannot be destroyed. By nature, he is full of bliss. He does not engage himself in any material activities. Therefore, the activities performed due to his contact with material bodies do not entangle him. That means the living entity is not touched, but again, because of that avidya and ahankara, because of that, he is identifying himself with the body. Therefore, he is suffering. So, I will end there. And Achit Priya Mataji, raised your hand.
Hare Krishna, Dandavata Mataji, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Mataji, I just want to confirm my understanding. That is, Prakriti is nothing to do with the soul. It's the
Prakriti is
body.
Bahiranga Shakti and soul is Tatastha Shakti. So, two different energies, external energy and marginal energy of the Lord.
Bahiranga Shakti. What is the other one you said?
Tatastha. Marginal.
Yes, marginal and external. Yes, Mataji. So you were saying that Prakriti has nothing to do with the soul. It's the body and senses which is working, and that working is going on based with our karma.
Prakriti has nothing to do with the soul means, see, whatever transformations that are going on in this body or in this world, these transformations are happening. The cause for the transformation is Prakriti. Prakriti is Bahiranga Shakti. And whatever happiness and distress is experienced by the living entity, who's the cause for that happiness and distress? The living entity is responsible. Purusha is responsible. And whatever work is being done, all different types of work activities, so that's why I told you, or Krishna says, Karya Karana Karta. Karta is, there's a demigod, expansion of a demigod. For every sense, we have 10 senses. Eyes, nose, ears, tongue, skin, hands, legs, tongue again for speaking, and then anus and genitals. Like this, we have 10 senses. 5 are working senses, 5 are knowledge acquiring senses. For every sense, there is a controlling deity. That means one amsha of a particular demigod is there in the body. He's there. That demigod is controlling that sense. He's called Karta. He's called the doer. So this controlling deity, that is a post, like you have a prime minister's post. So now it is Narendra Modi. Before, someone else could have been. Afterwards, someone else will be there. So there is a post. Like that, the demigods are also, it's a post. So the controlling deity, that is a post of Prakriti. In this Prakriti, that is a post. So that controlling deity is coming from Prakriti. The senses are also part of Prakriti in those 23 elements. Senses are also there. Then the object that is, that the senses are coming in contact with. For example, eyes come in contact with a form, then I see that form. Ears come in contact with a sound. Skin comes in contact with, touch, some object that it touches. So that object is called Karya. Object that the senses are seeing is called, what is that object made of? That object is also made of Prakriti only. So that means for an activity to take place, senses come in contact with the sense object, and for the senses to come in contact with sense object, the demigod controlling deity has to be there. All these three, when they're present, that's when some activity will take place. Bodies growing, moving, everything. All types of activities that are happening, clouds raining, or everything, any activity you take, plants growing, activity is happening because of these three, Karya, Karana, Karta. These three are coming from Prakriti. Therefore, Prakriti is responsible for all activity. The living entity is different. The living entity is not the doer. That's the point. Okay.
I never knew that object is also Prakriti. I just know the elements within body, only that.
So object means you have sense objects. What are the sense objects? Sound, form, touch, taste. So if you take a laddu is made of earth, water, fire, air, ether. Yes, because laddu it's made of, there is liquid portion in that, there is solid, so there is earth, there is water. In laddu, if you take bundi laddu, there's also air inside that. So those are there. The gross elements are there. But also it has sense object. When you see a laddu, it has a shape. It has a color, right? So that means there is a form. That is sense object. And also it not only form, it has smell. It has fragrance. And it has a taste. When you touch to your tongue, it has a taste. That means sense object. That laddu has those sense objects. You see?
Yes, okay. Yes, please continue with it. Yes, so the sense of.
So you said that you thought sense, the karya means elements.
Yes,
so
yes.
Within these elements, sense objects are also there. Gross elements, sense objects, those 24 elements that are there, in that sense objects are there. They're called tan-mātarau. And also the gross elements like earth, water, fire, air, ether. All these things are in those 24 elements. And these 24 elements are nothing but they're coming from Prakriti. So karya, karana, karta, all three are coming from Prakriti.
Okay. No, I understood. Thank you, Mataji. But I always don't understand Chit. Kṛṣṇa also is Satchitananda. We are also the Chit.
Different. That Chit is different, and this Chitta. Chitta means you have our subtle body has Chitta or Chittam, you can say. Chittam, Ahankara, then Buddhi, Mana, Indriya. That means Chittam. Chittam is a small portion of Mahat-tattva is called Chittam. Individually, what is given to us is called Chittam. And the function of this Chittam is all our samskaras, impressions are stored in the Chittam. That is and also Chittam is responsible for awareness. So many times you go to a place, but you don't notice so many things because your Chittam didn't go there. Like when you go to a store, you are looking for one object and you just pay attention to that. There are other things on the side, but your attention doesn't go there. You don't even notice, even though your eyes have seen that object, but you don't even know that it is there. Maybe your friend was there with you and your friend says that, oh, did you see on that aisle? You were right there and you also saw. No, I didn't see. No, I saw you saw that. No, I didn't see. That means what? My Chittam didn't go to that object. Therefore, even though my eye saw, nothing was registered. So this is the function of Chittam. Now, when we say Sat Chit Ananda, Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha, right? So there Chit means, so Sat means eternity, Chit means cognizance or knowledge, and Ananda means bliss. And also another one, when you say Chit, means like Chit Shakti. Chit Shakti means it's consciousness, right? It is the Supreme Lord's, it's spiritual. When you say Chit means it is spiritual, transcendental. So individual living entity is also Chit, Satchid Ananda, that cognizance is there. But also when you say Chit Shakti means it is spiritual. So the Lord's Chit, so we are also spirit, he is also spirit. But he is supreme spirit. We are minute individual spirit. Not that we are very small. We are small, but also in qualities also we have less qualities. It's not that we have the same quality, exact same quality as the Lord, but in small quantity. Not like that. Qualities also we have less qualities compared to the Lord. Like that. I'll take others also, Mataji. Running out of time.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Hare Krishna. Bhakti Sundari Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. Mataji, I have a question regarding the message you have shared in the group where Srila Prabhupada's and Rameshwar Prabhu's conversation is there on the war.
Yes.
I couldn't get the meaning of it. So it will be nice if you can tell the purport of that message.
Okay, I'll just read it. Yes. So the message goes like this. 46 years ago, Prabhupada explained why war is inevitable. Srila Prabhupada, Krishna became famous by killing demons. He has two businesses. After we have secured America, we will use everything in Krishna's service, even atom bombs. Surrender to Krishna or else we will drop this atom bomb. The war is inevitable. There is no way it can be stopped. The thing is, if we go against the Lord's system, which we are right now, just this whole, what do you say, we think this is advancement and technology and so on and so forth. We are destroying the nature, Mother Nature. We are going against the Lord's system. This system won't last for long. Even those who are not devotees, they can also understand. I saw videos about this 20 years ago, like actual videos made like in America, like just normal people in America, saying that in the next 50 years, not 20, I think I saw this at least 25 years ago, but they said in the next 50 years, this whole culture, this whole civilization, right, it won't last. This electricity and, factories and machines, it won't last because it's not renewable energy. We are just using it up, and then it's going to be finished. It'll be exhausted. And then that person was saying that maybe after 50 years or 100 years, people will look back and think, my God, what type of people lived back then? What type of demons they were about us? The way we are living now, just spending so much of the Lord's energy unnecessarily. I mean, you think about using toilet paper, these things are like just started, man created these things, but this is not the system. This system won't last. Moving in airplanes and trucks and cars, all this won't last. So how it will come to an end? There has to be a war, right? There will be a war and there will be destruction. And when there is destruction, once again, now people will have to come to the natural systems. So war is inevitable. That is the point. So what is Srila Prabhupada saying? After we have secured America, we will use everything in Krishna's service, even atom bombs. That means whatever there is, we use everything in Krishna's service. Even atom bombs means that will be used to destroy the world, right? Not that we as devotees will be doing, but surrender to Krishna or else we will drop this atom bomb. The war is inevitable. There is no way it can be stopped. So now what is Rameshwar Prabhu saying? Prabhupada, I thought you once said that if we keep distributing books, then maybe the war can be stopped, right? If we distribute books and if everyone chants, then war will stop by distributing. Prabhupada said, no, that will increase it. So when you distribute books, you're only speeding up the process, right? So it's not that by your distributing books, everyone is immediately going to take to Krishna consciousness. You see, the other side, the demoniac nature also, demoniac people also will become more aggressive. When we start preaching, they will also become more aggressive. Then war will have to happen. So Prabhupada is saying, that will make it come faster. When you distribute books, that will increase it. That will make it come faster. We want that, Prabhupada is saying. That is preparing the world for the fight against atheism. So our distribution of books is preparing the world for the fight against atheism. My books are preparing the world. This war is inevitable. If they are reluctant to fight, we will force them to fight. What does that mean? We will force them to fight. Again, by our preaching Krishna consciousness, because they would not want to, those who are demoniac, they won't take to it. So when we start aggressively preaching, then they will be forced to fight. And when there is a fight, or also you can say, this awareness will come in people. By our preaching, what happens is people will become aware, and for the people to have the natural systems, this artificial system has to be destroyed. So it will only, that has to happen. The point is, that's the only way. Whatever we have done so far, that has to be undone. The only way to do that is there has to be a war. It has to be destroyed. All these things have to be destroyed. So war will happen. So the more we preach, that will only, the sooner it will happen, and the sooner our Daiva Varnashram communities will start. That's the point. Okay?
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, a quick question. If a war will happen and everything will be finished, means and we will
Not
come back to
everything.
the
Not everything will be finished. Everything won't be finished. Even after pralaya also, it's not that everything will be finished. Like when there is end of one, what do you say, yuga, there is pralaya, but it's not that everything will be finished. Some people will remain to continue the next, in the next yuga. Similarly, devotees will remain, but most of the people will be, you see, the 10,000-year golden period of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's not over. In fact, it is just starting, right? Actually, it will start after this war. Then for 10,000 years. 10,000 years from the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So 500 plus years are past now. Then when there is a war after destruction, then you will actually see that golden period blossoming. That will happen. So devotees will have to stay for that. So devotees will be there. How many of them will be there? That time will, reveal.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So Mataji, after war, so people will come back to the basics. That's the message.
Yes, yes. Prabhupada also said that we should be prepared, because people will come, they will come to us, to the devotees for shelter. In millions they will come, because they won't have food outside. For their survival, they won't have anything. I mean, you just think, stop and think. We are so dependent for food, we go to the store. If the food during, I think, coronavirus, we have seen, the aisles became empty, right? People were stocking and hoarding and there was no food. If such a situation came, we are all just helpless, right? We don't know how to grow food. We don't have any means. We are living in our apartments. We will just be stranded like this. The whole world, everyone is living in this particular current situation. So they will come to the devotees. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada said, we should be prepared. We should be ready to take them. When they come, we should take them. We should provide them. And to feed them, we should have our land and our systems growing our food, etc. So when they come, we should be able to take them. And that's how they will come and join. They will become devotees after the war.
Oh, beautiful message, Mataji. Thank you so much for clarifying it so very nicely.
Hare Krishna. Swati Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
Mataji, in today's words, shall we take as Paramatma or individual Purusha?
Paramatma.
Yeah, not Purusha, that soul.
No, I mean, we should take as Paramatma.
One more thing, Mataji, Chitta means general awareness. Intelligence means specific awareness.
Yes.
And you told that Mahatattva is the small portion of Chittam.
Yes.
Mahatattva is made up of goodness only, no, Mataji? So
Yes.
pure goodness.
Yes. Pure goodness means material goodness. In the material
Yes.
world, you won't find, purely one mode you won't find. It's always a mix of three. But of the three, maximum will be goodness. Like maybe 95% goodness and, little bit of passion and ignorance, or maybe 99% goodness, like that, 98% goodness. But it's always a mix. It won't be pure in the material world.
Yes, Mataji. One more thing, Mataji. In Jnana, can we take some part for Bhakti? We can take a Jnana Marga. Means we are the soul. Up to that we can take. Other after remaining portion we should not take. It means Aikya Jnanam.
Let me show you.
This is entirely different path, but how much we should take for Bhakti?
Yes. So when you say Jnana Marga, Jnana means Tvam Padartha Jnanam, Tat Padartha Jnanam, and Aikya Jnanam. Tvam Padartha Jnanam means I am not this body, I am soul. Tat Padartha Jnanam means absolute truth. Aikya Jnanam means I and that Brahman is one, right? There's no difference. I am also that Brahman only. There's no difference. So this is the realization when one follows Jnana Marga, step by step. First, they'll get Tvam Padartha Jnanam, then Tat Padartha Jnanam, then Aikya Jnanam, and finally they go and merge into Brahman. Now, Swati Mataji's question is, now when we want to do Bhakti, how much of this Jnanam can we use or should we use? First of all, here, when you are in Shuddha Bhakti, 0%, no Jnana. Because if you use Jnana, then it is not Shuddha Bhakti. Jnana karma dhyanavritam. Shuddha Bhakti definition is your bhakti should not be tainted by karma, jnana, etc. There's no dependence on karma, jnana, etc. No need. You should do only Shravana Kirtana Adi Rupa Bhakti. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam. Your dependence is only on bhakti. No dependence on karma or jnana when you're doing Shuddha Bhakti. But we are not here yet. We are here. We are not in Shuddha Bhakti. To do Shuddha Bhakti, you will need Dridha Shraddha. So, while you're here, when you practice Jnana, Jnana brings you to the mode of goodness. And when you're in the mode of goodness, it can help you in building your Dridha Shraddha, because in mode of goodness, when you hear Shastra, you'll take the meanings as it is. Mode of goodness is conducive to knowledge. One symptom of goodness is knowledge. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam. So if you're in the mode of goodness, it will help you to grasp Shastra properly. So there is no harm. It's not mandatory that everyone should use this jnana sadhanas. But if somebody wants to use before entering into Shuddha Bhakti, they can use. So what type of jnana you use? Tvam Padartha Jnana. Tvam Padartha Jnana means I'm not this body, I'm soul. So to realize that, maybe following some jnana sadhanas, some meditation, concentration, things like that. Or, to help focus your mind on chanting, right? You do some things, sitting postures and this and that. You can follow if it helps you. But this is before you enter. Once you enter here, there can be no dependence. So now your question is, which jnana should we use? Normally, this only they will use, if at all. Because Tat Padartha Jnana means absolute truth is Brahman. Why will we meditate on absolute truth as Brahman? We will meditate on absolute truth as Bhagavan. And Aikya Jnanam, I am that Lord, I am that Brahman. No, that won't be there. But, Rasapriya. But, here in devotional life, the oneness is in purpose, right? So, you don't have any agenda separate from the Lord's mission. That is the oneness in devotional life. So, you won't use as it is, this jnanam, tat padartha aikya jnanam, the way the jnanis use, you don't use like that. And for us, one more point that I must clarify is, you may wonder, now we are studying Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, this is also jnana, so we should not use. No. Bhakti jnanam is bhakti only. Bhakti Jnanam is not Jnana. Whenever we say Jnana Karma Dhyanavritam, Jnana means you should take this. That means practicing certain sadhanas to realize that you are not this body. Like Nishkama Karma Yoga, they do so that they can realize I am not this body. We don't do that. Similarly, Tat-padartha Jnana, to realize the absolute truth as Brahman, they follow all these Jnana sadhanas. They study Upanishads and follow Jnana sadhanas. We don't do that. And also ultimately to realize Aikya Jnana. We don't practice that. So what we study Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is also Jnana, but this is not this Jnana. This is called Bhakti Jnana. Bhakti Jnana is non-different than Bhakti. It is Bhakti only. So when you are studying, this is not Jnana. This is Bhakti. Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita and other Bhakti Shastras. This is Bhakti only. It's not Bhakti Jnana. Okay? Swati Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Any other questions? Okay. So shall we end here? Thank you all so much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaः. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.